Exactly. People buy from people at the end of the day. And that's why small businesses are so amazing, because you get to learn about the business owner behind the business. And they're able to put their own stamp on their business. Whereas if you're part of a big chain, you're kind of bound by those corporate rules. So I love little quirky independent cafes, restaurants, shops. I think it's brilliant.
This episode is brought to you by True Tone Media. A lot of business owners know they should be doing video to interact with their potential clients, but video can sometimes feel awkward, particularly if it's scripted or you're kind of sitting there like a hostage in front of the camera trying to share your story. And that's where True Tone Media is different. It's relaxed conversations. It's interview led, like you're just having a chat with me. There's no acting or pretending to be someone different in front of camera. And that's why it works. That's why people relate to it. If you're interested, have a look in the show notes for True Tone Media and book in a conversation. We can have a chat. Okay, back to the podcast.
Welcome to the Bishop Stortford Community Podcast, the show where we shine a light on the incredible businesses, community leaders and local legends shaping our town. I'm your host, James O'Donnell, and today we are joined by Anne Scott. Anne, great to have you on the show.
Hello, thank you for having me.
No worries. Anne, for those of us who don't know you yet, who are you and what do you do here in Bishop Stortford?
So my name is Anne Scott and I'm a regional business and stakeholder manager for the Federation of Small Businesses.
Fantastic. And what does the FSB do in Bishop Stortford?
So Federation of Small Businesses is actually a national organisation. It's a not-for-profit and it's 52 years old. So 52 years ago, we had a business owner who wanted to complain about the increase in national insurance contributions, which is ironic as we find ourselves back there today, 52 years on. So he decided to get a group of business owners together to lobby the government, to get the media involved and kind of shine a light on why this was so unfair. Now, we've stayed true to our roots. We still get very much involved in policy work, but we've also expanded slightly over the years. We do networking events, we offer free business support, and we also offer a range of benefits and services to people who pay to be part of our membership.
Okay. So how many businesses are members of FSB at the moment?
We have approximately 240,000 members at Federation of Small Businesses, and it ranges from freelancers, sole traders, right up to the bigger businesses of up to 250 employees.
Wow. And, this is very relevant, as you say, at the moment, because of, small business owners are under a lot of pressure. Every small business owner I have on the podcast, basically acknowledges that it's difficult times out there. What's your main priorities at the moment?
So business confidence at the moment is at an all-time low. It's been an absolute whirlwind of cost pressures, employment costs, energy bills, food, business rates, everything is mounting. And more recently at the budget, we saw national insurance contributions go up. So we're trying to support our members by lobbying the government, particularly on business rates, to make it a little bit more fairer. We have in the past seen some successes. So during COVID, for example, we were very integral to bringing in the rates relief. That's now gone completely. So there are a lot of cost pressures for our business owners at the moment.
So business rates, forgive me if I'm wrong, they are linked to businesses and their offices and the local council maintenance of those. Is that how that works? Am I misrepresenting that?
That's right. It's incredibly complicated, so I won't go into it now. But the valuation is set by the VOA and it's administered by the local council, particularly those businesses that are on the high street. So hospitality, leisure, tourism, retail, they're being particularly hit at the moment. Also because they've got an increase in national insurance contributions, which when you're employing a lot of staff, because you're in the retail or hospitality sector, it's just a whirlwind of cost pressures at the moment. Plus, you've got things coming down the line, like the Employment Rights Bill, making tax digital. There's a lot for a small business owner to contend with at the moment. So we're trying to give them that support to help them understand what the Employment Rights Bill really means for them, for example.
So what are, the smartest businesses out there? What are they doing in 2026 to kind of get through this and make the most of their business?
I would say that joining the Federation of Small Businesses is actually a really, really smart move. Obviously, I would, but it gives them access to basically a whole suite of benefits and services. I'm going to give you one example. We actually had a restaurant who was facing an employment tribunal, and it meant potentially finding £40,000, £50,000 overnight to fight this case. As part of the legal protection that FSB offers, we actually paid for his legal fees. And he said to me, that saved my business. I cannot find that sort of money overnight. So it's great to know that there's this big not-for-profit organisation in the corner of the small business owner.
So is those benefits, they're the main reason for small businesses to join at the moment, would you say? So they kind of act as a kind of anchor to support small businesses in case they get into trouble. Is that the idea?
Certainly in terms of protecting them legally if they find themselves in that position, but also being proactive as well. So there's a hub where they can download lots of templates for contracts, policies, documents, letters, all designed to give them everything they need at their fingertips. But there's also lots of other really useful stuff in there, like free business banking, free training. But there's also a lot that we do outside of membership. So people may not want to pay to be a member, but there's also lots of free advice on our website. So if someone, for example, is looking at starting up a business, it's difficult to know where to start. So we have a guide for the top 10 things that you need to do, for example. So there's lots there that's accessible to everybody.
Oh, that's good. Because I was really struggling to figure out what to do, for example, with the podcast, whether or not to set it up as a limited company or as a CIC, which is a community interest company. So it's useful to have that kind of information and a little bit of guidance, even if you're like in those really early stages.
It is, yeah. And certainly sharing ideas, frustrations with other small business owners, because they've probably all been through it as well. And sometimes the best way to do something right is learn from somebody else's mistakes. So I love going to networking events that we organise where I see collaborations and connections form, people sharing ideas and sharing advice. It's really lovely to see, actually. I'm really proud to be part of the networking scene.
That'd be good. What's your next networking event coming up?
We have too many for me to mention. Virtually, in person. The virtual events are completely free, and the in-person events are either free if we've got sponsorship, or they're relatively low cost. Because we're a not-for-profit, we don't charge that much for our events. So they are nice and accessible for people. I must run one in Bishop Stortford, actually. I haven't done one yet. I know. I can see the shock on your face. I really should do.
The amount of small businesses that I've got on the podcast, I've had on the podcast, and I've got lined up to come on the podcast. You should definitely be doing one, because there's lots of people out there, lots of independent businesses trying to do their best at the moment, in difficult circumstances. And the whole point of the podcast is for them all to come together and for us to shine a light on them and support them and as much as we can. I think that's one of the big things about this community, is that there are so many independents, and they're all recognise the fact that they need to support each other, because otherwise they'll disappear under all the pressures they're under at the moment.
Exactly. And I must admit, I am so proud to be part of the small business community, because they really do support each other, and they've been supportive to me as well. So I recently went through a separation, and my solicitor, my conveyancer, my mortgage broker, my insurance advisor, literally every single person I could have needed came from the small business community. And it totally got me through a really difficult time, not just because I needed their services, but these people have become really, really good friends. And that's what I love about FSB. It brings that small business community together really well.
Wow. Yeah, I think that, shines that definitely, shows that point, really clearly, isn't it? That small businesses, they have to care, because that's what they're about, and hopefully you then therefore feel cared about in a different way, and you get a different level of service.
Exactly. People buy from people at the end of the day, and that's why small businesses are so amazing, because you get to learn about the business owner behind the business. and they're able to put their own stamp on their business. Whereas if you're part of a big chain, you're kind of bound by those corporate rules. So I love little quirky independent cafes, restaurants, shops. I think it's brilliant.
Oh well, we've got tons of those. Let's talk about getting something set up for Bishop Stortford over the summer. Then
yes,
that sounds
please
that
connect
sounds great.
me with these amazing business owners, especially if they've got
lots.
a venue. Actually, any of your listeners who has a bar, a cafe, a restaurant, or an outdoor space, I'd definitely be keen to speak to them. Actually,
fantastic. We'll do that, Anne. So if I'm a regular small business owner now in Bishop Stortford, listening into this, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm struggling a bit. I need some extra help. I could do with some networking or just to ask some advice of someone. Why should they reach out and contact FSB now?
It's not just about the benefits and the services that we offer. Obviously, I've been through some with them and they are incredibly powerful. You'll be quite surprised actually how relatively low cost it is. It's £195 for the whole year for a sole trader, which if you think every time you go to a solicitor to get a letter drawn up to recover a late payment, it's a good 200, 300 quid just to pull up a seat. So the savings that it brings, but also the protection and the support it offers is overwhelming. But it's more about the community. You'll have access to people like me, for example, who can signpost you to local authorities, to business support programs, because believe it or not, there is so much on offer out there for free to support small businesses that some people don't get to hear about. So definitely reach out to me by all means. I'll happily point you in the right direction.
Fantastic. We'll do that. What is the best way for people to reach out and talk to you, Anne?
They can contact me on LinkedIn. That's no problem. I'm happy to share a link with you, but also just to go to the website. You'll find so many guides on there, from how to market your business to how to make your business net zero. It's quite incredible, the amount of information on there. And you'll find different details there for our events, but also different people in different areas that can help you.
Excellent. We will put your personal LinkedIn profile on the show notes so people can reach out, and the FSB website as well. So if anybody's interested, they can read up on that and maybe have a conversation with you as well, and hopefully see you over the next few months. In the meantime, are you ready for some Stortford Spotlight questions, Anne?
Yes, let's go for it.
Excellent. If you could put one sentence on a billboard in Jackson Square, what would it say, and who needs to hear it the most?
So it would say, let us support your small business with its big ambitions. Now, the reason I say that is 3/5 of all employment and around half of turnover in the UK private sector is down to a small business. So they're not just at the heart of our communities, they really are the backbone of our economy. And not enough people hear about FSB, to be honest. Some people think it's the Russian mafia, and I have to explain, no, it's not. It's Federation of Small Businesses. And I think once they understand what it is that we do, I think they'll be very interested in joining.
Fantastic. Yeah. Well, there's lots of conversation happening at the moment around this subject. So it sounds like you guys are, standing up for the small business owner out there, and hopefully we can, get us protected and, work together over the next year or so to see ourselves through this difficult period. Okay, question 2. Where do you go in Stortford that you secretly hope never gets too popular?
So I'm not going to call any individuals out because I don't want to offend any members I may have missed. But I absolutely love all the small businesses, the independent shops. So I would probably go to one of them. And the reason being is that, as I said before, you get to know the person behind the business. And small businesses really just go that extra mile when it comes to customer services. You don't necessarily get that from a bigger brand. So that's why I would always choose my local independent coffee shop over, I won't say a brand, but a big chain.
Definitely. Well, we've got plenty of those in town, and we're building up a very comprehensive list of the best places to go. So check some back episodes, and next time you visit Anne, you'll be able to pick out the best locals there. Okay, last question. Who's doing something special in Bishop Stortford that more people need to know about?
So again, I'm not going to call out any members or volunteers that we have, but I have such an amazing group of members and volunteers, not just in Bishop Stortford, but across Essex, who I see them networking, I see them connecting, collaborating, they're supporting each other, and it's really, really heartwarming. And I also have a lot of people who are really happy to help FSB. They're business owners, they're busy people, but they're happy to be case studies. If they've got an issue with business rates or employment law, they like to go on the media for me to kind of shine a spotlight on why things need to be different. So if anyone would like to volunteer, I am always happy to speak to them.
Excellent. Do you get reached out to a lot by media outlets to do that kind of work?
I do. Generally, when something happens in the news, like at the moment, for example, petrol prices are climbing higher and higher, and that's having an effect on delivery services and stuff like that. So they will quite often want our line on it, our kind of policy take, but also to hear from a business owner themselves. And with 240,000 members across the UK, I'm probably going to know someone who has that kind of issue. So yes, and it's part of the FSB model, really. It's to work with the government to hold them to account, to advocate for small businesses, but also use the media as well to shine a spotlight on their challenges and what needs to change.
Fantastic. Well, some great opportunities there for small business owners to get involved and hopefully get a little bit of extra media coverage. Again, what's the best place for people to find you online or get involved?
LinkedIn or the main FSB website.
Fantastic. The links to that will be across the show notes. That's a wrap, Anne. Thank you so much for joining us today on the Bishop Stortford Community Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, the best way to support the show is to hit follow, leave a quick review on YouTube, Apple, or Spotify, and then share it on your socials, or with someone in town who's not on social media, but you think is running a small business and might be interested in what the FSB have to offer. And if you've got a local legend, a small business owner that's out there doing great things that you think we should feature on the podcast, drop their name in the show notes and I can reach out to them and invite them on the podcast and shine a light on their business. Anne, again, thank you so much for joining us on the Bishop Stortford Community Podcast today.